Isom number one is very much like a pallet of seeds. When these seeds grow, they begin to blossom into trees, plants, flowers, etc., etc. You get Avery Silman, who is a rancher in Flores Park, Texas, who seems to be like a bit of a retired superhero who moved to burbs to get away from the whole city life. But then there's a guy who comes from the past. You know what happens when the past comes calling back? You got to return to where you started. And that is what is going on here with this story and the synopsis of Isom number one.
As I suspected, 32 flavors.
What Isom is in the conversation of genre is like an 80s action hero with a dash of superheroics thrown into the mix. You get to know who the players are with just enough sprinkles of information to give you surface levels ideas on their motivations, the stakes in the game, while leaving layers of mysteries to most of them as well as like, what is going on here? You wanted action and less fucktarditis therapy? Well, Isom has plenty of action to burst your nuts and get that shot of adrenaline moving, because the hits are aplenty and what's going on here clearly matters. And despite all that play, it occurs all within a day's happening, but quite an eventful one at that. And I was quite shocked to learn that this book was 90 plus pages, because it moves a lot quicker than you think while still being accessible. You know, it takes a lot to introduce a character, their supporting cast, their story, and a whole universe to boot, but somehow it is all pulled off here. And well, speaking of characters, the characterization itself is great, with all the characters having their own voice, easy to remember names and appearances, while making it clear cut who is the hero and who is the villain. Man, I fucking miss that. What a concept. So if you're here for anything, the main story in Isom should definitely keep you interested in where this goes and how it plays out in the larger scheme of shit. So all in all, story-wise, this is a very solid introduction with a lot of engaging parts that have gotten me invested. And on the art front, it's no secret that Cliff Richards ain't no Jack Kirby or John Romita, and that's fine. He doesn't need to be, but the man ain't no slouch either. His world of Texas is very bright, believable, simple. The characters, whether like special, the mutant term special, that's what they're rolling with, special, or ordinary, look different and are expressive. He knows how to make characters look how they sound via Eric's dialogue. And a big honorable mention to the cool ass suits, especially Isom suit. That shit is so damn killer, and they are colorful. They're not filled with a bunch of complicated busyness. It would not feel out of place like a silver or bronze age story. Gabe's colors too are a very great compliment to Cliff's pencils, like especially like for like the suits, whether it's the Alpha Core or Isom, you can like almost feel like what the material would feel like on the suits. And I thought that was a really cool touch from Mr. Gabriel El Tayyib. With all praise set aside, not all things are created equally nor perfectly. And that means this is not exempt to critiquing. Now, my one big critique with Isom issue number one is a lot of the movement in the action. It feels like, the order isn't like always right in the way the bodies move in a fight. And there is even one page where it feels like there was like a panel that was like glossed over or skipped over. You're like, oh, what happened in between? So that said, though, like a lot of the action still looks cool, and it's nice to see like, Avery Silman doing what he does, and there's all these going-ons in the city. But yeah, there's definitely some parts where it definitely could use some work in the choreography of the fights. That all said, we'll see what comes with issue number 2, and I've got a very mild spoiler. I mentioned earlier on in the review that there was a lot of characters who got like surface level ideas of who they were, a little hint. With Yaira and the Alpha Core, we didn't really get anything. We just saw that they existed, and they look cool, and I feel like it looks promising, but I would definitely at least like to have gotten some information, at least a sliver, if you will. So there is a little bit, of a complaint there. Once again, the nitpick. Now, that all said, Isom number 1, it is a good book that is worthy of your time, money, and reading. So get on it, read it, get to know Isom, get to know the Rippaverse. If there isn't, like an interest in Isom, there is some stuff in there that could pique your interest. So I would say still look at it for what it is, because something in there might be for you. So yes, go buy this fucking book already.